Where's my beauty blender?
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Melissa, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing, well, a little bit about my life, get a little bit of a chit chat, and my foundation favorites while I'm doing a little bit of a foundation routine. So if you want to go ahead and achieve this look and also find out maybe what foundation is going to be best suited to you, keep on watching. Alright, so I just started by quickly prepping my skin with a little bit of a primer. I would say I'm like normal to combination. I get a little bit oily on my T-zone and a little bit drier towards the outer edges of my skin. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my favorite foundation at the moment. This is the Born This Way. This foundation has definitely become a quick favorite of mine. I am not 100% happy with the shade that I got given. I got Natural Beige. It's a little bit on the pink side, so not my favorite. You guys, if you know me, you know I like a very yellow undertone foundation. What I really enjoyed about this foundation is that it wasn't too matte. It gave like this just beautiful finish to the skin. You can definitely create a very natural finish to this foundation if you want to, or you can build it to be medium. Then I'm just going into my neck as well, because my face is definitely lighter than the rest of my body. I like to apply it with a flat brush first. I'll work it in with like a buffer brush or a beauty blender. So I like to really layer the product on first. While I'm here, I'm gonna answer one of your questions. The first question is, what nationality are you? I was born and raised in South Africa, in Pretoria to be specific. My family's background is Portuguese. I do have a Portuguese passport, which definitely helps me on all my travels. As you can see, guys, this is definitely a very light finish. I would probably, if I'm going out, I would probably layer again. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self? I'm still in my 20s. I'm 28 to be exact. I'll be 29 in October. It's definitely been a whirlwind. The only thing that I could say is just really live your life to the fullest as much as you can, without forgetting about your intentions and what you want to set up for your future. I mean, I'm the last person to give advice like that because I just live my life in the moment, really. But one thing I have definitely taken away, one really important thing, is to at least save some money. That's probably the only advice I can give. Like this, you might actually need to pat in where you feel you need more coverage, wherever it may be necessary. Especially if you have little blemishes like I do over here that you really want to cover up and not see. So I'm just going in with my beauty blender to press this all in. Definitely will link my bridal tutorial at the end of this video. It definitely showcases my full coverage go-to foundation routine. My conclusion of this foundation is it's really wearable. You can definitely build it up to the coverage that you need to. It gives you this almost luminous finish to the skin a little bit. This is the Becca Luminous Concealer. This is also one of my favorites. I like to mix my concealers a little bit. I'm gonna mix in with my Born This Way. Actually, this is a matching concealer to the foundation. This has a little bit more of a pink undertone. They said that I can match this to my foundation exactly, but it will be a little bit lighter than the foundation, but it is an exact match. So this is also Natural Beige. This is a foundation that I was using before I really got into my Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and that is the Fenty Beauty foundation. Full coverage, very creamy but also very matte. I use this if I really want to go all out with and not see one little tiny blemish. I definitely would recommend this. Also great for oily skins. I use it on myself. I tend to use a little bit more of a moisturizing primer or something will give a little bit more of a dewy finish or just put moisture back into the skin, because this can tend to dry out the skin. I got mine in the shade 235. This is a very yellow undertone. I would not recommend this for someone that has an extremely dry skin. It will probably show your imperfections a little bit more. It will probably accentuate the dryness. I'm just going to jump into another one of your questions. Will you come to Namibia for my makeup one day when I get married? By the way, you are okay. Hard eyes. Thank you so much. This is Nicole. I would love to be able to come to Namibia and do your makeup. Both would be a bonus for me because I really haven't been to Namibia and I would love to go. Next question. You're so beautiful. How is it that you are still single? Girl, God's timing, not mine. That's how I try and console myself. But thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. Do you have an end career goal? Look, I don't necessarily think that your career ever really ends. So for me to say an end career goal, I don't think there's one like specific one. I'm really hoping this is not my end goal, but this is definitely a very important goal for me, and that is to buy my mom a house and like just live with my family all in one place and just, you know, be able to support my mommy. Just going in with a little bit of a lighter concealer now to highlight. I'm gonna move on to another foundation. Before Fenty Beauty, I was obsessed with this foundation, and this is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is a full coverage foundation. First time I ever used it, I don't know if it was just that my skin was not adhering to the product well and it was just not coming off nice. But I eventually fell in love with it. I want to use this foundation, I would say at night more, like, or if you're going to events or birthdays or anything like of that scale. Just using a little bit of the Fenty Pro Filter concealer here just to brighten up my under eye a little bit more. I know guys, I use like 500 concealers. Touching on that foundation is really great if you again have more of like an oily skin or normal combination. It tends to be very drying if you're not careful. Again, you'd need to probably use a great primer or great moisturizer just so that your skin doesn't dry out. Nars, in terms of foundation, is really like one of my favorite brands when it comes to foundations, concealers. They just get it right. As you can tell by the foundations that I've already spoken about, I tend to have like a little bit of a pattern when it comes to the textures and the coverages, but sometimes if I'm not feeling it, that's why my full coverage foundations actually last me so long, because yeah, I don't use them as much. I'm gonna answer another one of your questions. How was the experience of living in Portugal? So living in Portugal was great until winter came. It was a wet winter. It was not my favorite. It can either be cold or wet. You can't be both. Like, pick a struggle, okay? On a more positive note, it was really beautiful, especially in the summertime. People are just out and busy and enjoying their lives, and it's just beautiful in summer. Like, there's so many restaurants to try. Just, yeah, it's indescribable. So it really is a beautiful place, beautiful food, beautiful people, lots of tourists in the summertime of the year. I was with my family, I was with my sister, so for me that was a bonus in and of itself. I was 10 times more healthier there. I focused on the right foods and everything. I don't know what it was about Portugal actually that made me live a much healthier life than the one I do in South Africa. It was a really good experience. I'm glad that I went and I tried it out, but it was just a little bit dry when it came to you know, making money in winter, because the local women, they don't really wear much makeup. They don't really care for it, but still would go back and visit, and it's a really great experience in general. Foundation and concealer application tips for matured skin. I actually saw Candy Cane. If you guys don't follow her, that is her Instagram handle. She spoke about this the other day in one of her little Q&A polls, and she mentioned that you cannot hide texture, and I completely agree with her. Whether you have a lot of wrinkles or more matured skin or things like that, you can't really hide texture. If you have really great eyes, focus on that, like accentuate your eyes more, or if you have really great cheekbones, accentuate that, but try not to focus too much on covering up too much, because again, when it's more mature skin, you tend to see a lot more texture. So you want to pull back on a lot of products that we would maybe layer on. You know, you really want to try and, you know, keep it minimal as possible. I would say go for products that maybe have more of a cream base, even cream blushes, cream highlighters, things like that really work great for more mature skin. Any tips for an aspiring makeup personality, or whatever you call it? If you're gonna be a makeup personality online, just be consistent. You know, obviously it's something that a lot of people will mention in general when it comes to social media and being online, is just being consistent. So if you want to be like a makeup personality, show your personality, bring more of your personality out in your creativity, and be consistent with that, and really just showcase your looks as much as you can. Get models that are willing to collaborate with you or sit in your chair for free just to get their makeup done. Do that, you know, find every way possible to get your makeup out there and have people know who you are. So I was just contouring here, and for those of you that may want to know, this is the Floor Mark Contour Stick in shade 3. I, as you notice, will use all my cream products first and then set with powder. So my next foundation is also a Nars foundation. This is more of a sheer to medium coverage. This is the Nars Sheer Glow. Like a velvet texture a little bit. Gives your skin this like almost airbrushed soft finish to the skin. You can use this if you're a little bit more on the natural side when it comes to foundation. I would recommend it for everyone actually. If you feel it gets a little bit more on the oily side, then just use the correct primer or blotting powder or something like that. But I do feel like it's quite a versatile foundation. If you happen to have both or get both, the Natural Radiant Longwear and the Sheer Glow, mix them. What else is here? What's your trick to stay motivated and consistent when it comes to fitness? Let me just tell you, okay? My only goals for fitness is when I know I'm going away, and it usually happens a week or 2 weeks before my trip, and I'm like, I need to lose weight. Which is actually really bad because it's not very sustainable, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I do sometimes get into a really good routine where I start eating very healthy. I found that meal prepping really helps you to stay motivated, helps you to stay on track. You don't go looking around for other food when you have your meal prep, or if you're out of time, things like that. It really helps you to stay on track. In terms of going to the gym as well, like I have days where I'm not motivated at all, like I will not see the gym for a few weeks, like it gets that bad. But the only way I can express it is that the best feeling is that after gym feeling, when you knew you didn't want to go in the beginning and then afterwards you went and you're like, oh my word, I'm so glad I went. Your endorphins are like pumping and it's just amazing. Any face wash suggestions for normal skin, not really dry or oily, but I get spots now and then? Guys, I'm not even going to like second guess this one. Glam Glow face washes in general, all of them are amazing. Just do me a favor and try one of them, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with a bit of a transition shade, and I like to do this to warm up my face. This is just an Inglot, I don't even know, they gave this to us in like a goodie bag or something. Freedom System palette. There. Okay, this to warm up my face. So I find that if you layer your products, your wear on your products are longer. So I always do this process where I layer my cream products first and then I go in with my powders. And moving on to another foundation. This was something I discovered. I'm going to give you a break just for a second from the higher end foundations, but this one actually surprised me quite a bit. It is this Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation. It's not as cakey as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be extremely cakey and ew, and it actually wasn't. It's really lightweight. Like, you really have to layer it if you want to get any coverage out of this. It's a very lightweight foundation. As it suggests, it's matte and poreless. I'm not like 100% certain on the poreless part, but it is definitely more of a matte finish to the skin. But again, a very quite sheer foundation. So I would say that this is something really great for like the everyday woman on the go that maybe is on a budget or doesn't want to spend too much on their foundation because they need to replenish it often. I would not necessarily suggest that the matte Fit Me who? I would not necessarily suggest that the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation is for more of a dry skin. Definitely more for oily combination skins. I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with this palette. It looks quite disgusting at the moment, but you're just gonna ignore that. So this is the Florma foundation palette. What is this? Contour palette. It's a mess because I mixed everything together. It's a really great tool to have to warm up your face, and also like if you like a cream blush, this is great because it has like cheek color in here that I'm obsessed with, and it's got a little bit more of your warmer shades. I love a pink cheek, okay guys? I used to hate it. I used to really hate pink cheeks, but now I'm obsessed, and it's all thanks to Nikki Makeup. If you don't follow her, give it a go. Do another question. I swear I only start waking up like halfway through my tutorials. Okay, this is one interesting question, especially after the really bad time we've had in South Africa with regards to, you know, the rapes and the killings and all of that. I know it's not nice to talk about, but it is a reality that we do need to address. So I had a follower ask me, how do you ensure you're safe getting around Cape Town without driving yourself? So, as you may or may not know, guys, I do not drive. Yes, I'm 28 years old and I don't drive. I have like this, I don't know why, this anxious fear. It's not anxious, it's anxiety. I have anxiety when it comes to, okay, this is a pink undertone powder. This is going to cancel out any dark circles under the skin. Under the eyes. This side, under the eyes. Sorry, guys. I have always traveled with public transport. I think I'm very used to it by now. Like, when I used to go to high school, I used to take the bus. When I started working for Mac and no one could take me to work, I used to take a metered taxi. And trust me, back then they weren't very safe either. So I think, you know, touch wood, but I think God just like protected me up until now. But now in today's times of Uber, obviously like making things a little bit easier for us to get around. Obviously there's been a lot of like backlash when it comes to Uber and, dare I say their name, Bolt. It has been quite a challenge to like, you know, get in an Uber and think that you're going to be safe when you get to your destination. I will say, and this is only as per my experience, I had a bad experience with Bolt and I never used them again. I just completely cut them off. I have been pretty safe up until now, so I haven't had any like seriously bad experiences. If I was having dinner or if I was like out or whatever, I always let somebody know that I've gotten home safely. And then the other thing is I just avoid taking Uber at night altogether, okay? Unless it's like, I know it doesn't really make a difference, but if it's really close to our house, I'll probably take an Uber. Say now, for example, from B&A to my place, which is really close, then maybe I'll take it at night. But other than that, I try to stay away from public transport at night. Let your peeps know where you are. You can share your location as well when you're on your trip. So small things like that do definitely help, I would say. I mean, I used to hunt this foundation down back in the day when it was the only place I could find it was in Metropolitan Cosmetics in Santon. I'd like gather all my coins and get it because I just couldn't live without it. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. This is like an improved formula. Amazing, 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 amazing. Still amazing. I just got caught up in all the new stuff. I also say this is more towards the texture of the Nars Sheer Glow, more of a sheer finish. You can build it, but it still looks, it still looks very much on the natural side. It's really honestly a beautiful foundation. I would even say dry, oily, normal combination, give it a go. All these foundations are really great, and that's why I prefer, before anybody drags me for why I don't use drugstore, I prefer a little bit more of high-end quality foundations when it comes to just the longevity of them, the sort of, you know, finish it gives to your skin. All those things really play a part when they are able to use really quality ingredients when making these products. So I know it's a little bit more on the pricey side, but it is worth it. Don't mind me, I'm just contouring with my NYX Pro Contour Palette. I've had this for a minute. Really bomb. Favorite. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up my makeup while I'm here and finish up some of your questions. If you feel like I've missed anything, just drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know if you have a specific dilemma or you're looking for a specific foundation, an opinion on a specific foundation that maybe I have used. I could probably give you advice, but for the most part these are the foundations that I stick to. Okay, next question. You don't want children one day, question mark. I am very much on the fence about having children. Doesn't mean that I don't love children, because I really do. They're amazing, beautiful beings. Sometimes amazing, beautiful little monsters, terrorists a little bit, you know. But I really do love kids. I really feel like I connect with them well. I think it's a combination of things. Firstly, we live in a crazy world. I mean, I don't know if I want to subject my kids to all this craziness. I think it's also selfish of not thinking of what they may go through, because I genuinely feel like this world is just getting crazier. So it's not that I don't want them, I just don't think I'm ready for them right now. Maybe try and ask me that question again in like 2 years or something. Maybe I'll have like a different answer. Favorite place, city you've lived in so far and why? Okay, so I've lived in Pretoria, I've lived in Johannesburg, Cape Town for 4 months, Portugal. If I really had to pick one, even though it wasn't for me work-wise, living there, Portugal. Yeah. Alright everyone, so that is pretty much it for my favorites, foundation favorites, answering some of your questions. And just to sum it all up, if I was honestly deserted on an island or whatever, with one of these foundations I would be happy with it, because they are all amazing. So definitely worth the buck. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me on this little video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Love and light. Mwah.